I remember it was a Tuesday night about a year and a half ago. I was in my apartment, this one behind me, pacing back and forth, pulling my hair out, stressed out because my copywriting business wasn't really working. So up until about 6 months prior to that, I had been working a content writing job. Essentially, I was still a freelancer, a sole trader, but I was writing scripts for a single client who owned a bunch of YouTube channels. And while that was steady, I really wasn't earning any money. So I decided to throw myself in the deep end by quitting that gig and trying to make a go of it as a copywriter as opposed to a content writer. And I learned very quickly that sitting in the dark and writing is very different from operating a business. So yeah, 6 months of suffering, and that brings us back to that Tuesday night when I was pacing back and forth in this apartment. I knew at that point that something needed to change, that if I kept doing things the same way that I had been doing them, I would go insane, because that is one way that people define insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting something to change. So I jumped onto my computer and Googled networking groups near me. And it turned out that there was an event on that very next day at 7:30 in the morning, a 5-minute walk from my apartment in Fremantle. I will admit though, I was a little hesitant to attend something like that. And this is the reason I hadn't done it sooner, because I, at that time, wrongly assumed that business networking groups would be corporate and false. Attending the event the next day, I realized very quickly that I had been the fool. Everyone there was human, just like me, and all of them were incredibly lovely. Honestly, the environment really couldn't have been more warm and welcoming. And it turns out that that event was District 32. And I still remember sitting on those red chairs in the corner of the room at More and More, getting sold by Dean and absolutely loving it. Honestly, if I didn't join District 32 then and there, the consequence wouldn't be me pacing back and forth in this apartment. It would be me doing that same thing probably back at my parents' home, which would have been something close to rock bottom for me, to be honest. But since joining D32, and of course it takes a little time to get that ball rolling, it took me about 6 months, I think, to gain some traction. But since joining D32, my life has honestly changed. My business has blown way up. I'm actually enjoying the business side of things instead of just the writing side of things, which is my craft, my trade, and my passion, to the point that I actually think that back-end business stuff has become my passion. I'm more confident in my life across the board, more well-rounded, far happier, and I'm excited for things to come. Honestly, I wouldn't be where I am right now, physically and in life, without District 32. So if you're on the fence with joining up, like, I can't say exactly what the journey is going to look like for you. I can't say that you're going to achieve whatever success looks like to you. But for me, it's been a game changer. And if you're stuck pacing back and forth in your apartment, pulling your hair out, this is a logical next step to try. So thank you, Dean and Lorraine, and everyone that runs D32 and everyone that's in D32 for everything. Love you all. Cheers.